Doing the presentation on the management skills from Ramayana.
Namaste everyone. श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदांताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि श्रीमते श्री लक्ष्मी नृसिंह दिव्यपादुका सेवक श्रीमन् षठोक श्री नारायण यतीन्द्र महादेशिकाय नमः श्रीमते श्रीमन् षठोक श्री रंगनाथ यतीन्द्र महादेशिकाय नमः श्रीकृष्णमार्यं करुणालयन्तं वेदान्तयुग्मं समधीतवन्तं वत्साभिजातं विदुषां वरेण्यं श्रीभाष्यसिंहं प्रणमामि नित्यम् कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं वाल्मीकेर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं को न याति परां गतिम् जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रासध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः. Namaste to everyone. Today I will be speaking on management principles from Ramayana. I am Amogh Chakravarthy, basically a SARAN Sevak. SARAN stands for Sampradaaya, Anushtaana, Rakshana, AbhimaaN, and I am a Shishya of Dr. AbhimaaN Swami, and I am doing Kalakshepam under him for about 2 years right now. And we SARAN Sevaks are there all over the world in many countries. And we are doing many programs socially, religiously. This is basically a satsang to propagate the Ramanuja Sampradaaya. So we have it in many places, and we are doing many cultural activities to promote Sanatana Dharma too. So in that way, today, let me start my presentation by saying this. Before that, today I will be using some Sanskrit words in between. If you don't understand anything, you can ask me without any hesitation. That's one. Other than that, I will be going through the presentation, which is little more than around half an hour. I will be quoting many verses from Ramayana today, original Ramayana verses, that is from Valmiki Ramayana, as it is good and auspicious to hear them, and also we get to know what context we are traveling through. So I will be quoting some of the verses. Other than that, let me start with a disclaimer at the starting by saying, we are seeing Lord Rama here, but today we'll be seeing Lord Rama as an incarnation of a human being rather than as Lord or God something. Because when we see him as a human being, only then we can learn all those management principles or maybe imbibe the qualities which Rama has. Only then we can do it. If we see him as God, then we would say, oh, he is God, he can do it. How can we are primary mortals? I mean, that's what anyone would say. So, we would be seeing Lord Rama in most of the time today as an incarnation of a human being. So, let me go into the presentation. So, today, the topic is management principles from Ramayana. What I will be going through today is basically a storyline from the Ramayana, which is the surrender of Vibhishana. So many of you would have heard the story of surrender of Vibhishana, but I will tell you the story even before going into it. So that surrender of Vibhishana has been explained in 10 different chapters in a book in very detail. So, I will be telling about that book. That's the second one. Before that, I will even talk about the general communication skills, leadership skills, and all those things. After that, I will be going into the story of Ramayana Avataaram. There is a reason to say that story. You will get to know when I finish that story. There is Sugriva's opposition which is happening. Other than that, there are many things which are happening. Not only Sugriva, many vanaras object, they oppose, they do many kinds of things. Then Rama starts speaking, and there is a very beautiful story which is narrated by Rama, which can melt anyone's heart. So that's the real climax we have today. And later I will speak a little bit about authenticity of information. So, and then Sugriva's realization, and then Vibhishana, how come he comes and joins Lord Rama. So, in this slide, whatever you are seeing, this slide shows 3 boxes. One is communication skills, another is leadership qualities, and decision making. So, communication, when it comes to communication skills, normally when we say it's one-sided. That is, whatever we speak, the way we speak, that's what matters. No. Communication means it's not one-sided, it's two-sided. Which is, listening is a very important aspect here in communication skills. Other than listening, another important aspect is the way we speak, the way we convey the message, and whether it has conveyed really what we have to convey, the same thing has been conveyed to the opposite person. All these come under communication skills. So leadership qualities or skills, if we see, leadership qualities are nothing but we can actually merge leadership qualities and decision making to which person we are communicating our decision. That is the leadership quality. Let's say there is an organization, we say our decision to some person which doesn't make any difference. Is there any use? No. So we have to convey our decision to the person which makes some difference. So those things, and there are even meeting etiquettes which a leader should follow. That comes under leadership qualities. Again, when we come to decision making is nothing but we have to take a right decision at the right time and convey it to the right people. So whether it is decision making, leadership qualities, communication skills, if any one of them is good in a person and not the other two, a person cannot succeed. A person can succeed only then if all these 3 are in combination really good in a person. Only then a person can succeed in whatever endeavor he has taken. So today the grantham we are going to see about, or the book we are going to see about, is called as Abhaya Pradaana Saaram. This is one of the grantham composed by Swami Desikan. Swami Desikan is an acharya who lived around 750 years ago. He is not just an acharya, he is many more. He is a poet, mathematician, logician, sculptor, engineer, doctor, and whatnot. He is everything. So he has written this Abhaya Pradaana Saaram, which mainly focuses on the part of the surrender of Vibhishana Sharanagathi, or the surrender of Vibhishana. Other than that, there are even other parts which are covered in Abhaya Pradaana Saaram. I would be speaking about some other incidents from Ramayana which are not from Abhaya Pradaana Saaram too. So, now let us see the Avataaram of story of Ramayana. Ramayana, we cannot say that it was composed. We need to say it as Avataaram because that's so, that's so sacred. So, when we see how did Ramayana take its Avataaram, if we see that initially sage Valmiki and his disciple were going in the forest way, and during that time they met sage Narada on the way. And sage Narada, they asked sage Narada, because he is a good scholarly person, so there was a question which was haunting sage Valmiki from a long time, so he wanted to ask the question. So Valmiki asked the question to sage Narada, who is a person in this contemporary world who has a list of 16 qualities? That is, Konvasmin Sampratam Loke Gunavan Kashta Viryavan Dharmagnyascha Kritagnyascha Satyavakyo Dridhavrataha Charitrena Chakoiktaha Sarvabhuteshu Kohitaha Vidvankah Samartascha Kashcha Ekapriya Darshanaha. In this way, he asked the question of 16 qualities only one person who has all these qualities. So Valmiki asks this and says, Narada, in reply, even before replying, he contemplates in his mind first, he takes a pause and then starts to reply. He says, there is Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabho Nama Ramo Nama Janeshutaha, he says. So in this way, he says, there is a person called Rama who has taken his birth, or he was taken his avataram in the lineage of Ikshvaku. So in this way he answers this and they go on, they further move on, Valmiki and Bharadwaja, they move on. So in this way they keep walking. Valmiki is really happy thinking about whatever he had heard, because he is contemplating on that person and also all the qualities in that person. So in that happy mood he is walking. At some time what happens, there is a tree on which there are a couple of birds sitting, which are mostly krauncha birds. Krauncha is a kind of a crane bird. So these krauncha birds are sitting there and they are enjoying each other, a male and female, and Valmiki is happy looking at it at the same time. But suddenly what happens is, from nowhere, an arrow comes and hits this male bird, and male bird is shot in no time. Then Valmiki gets to know that it is a hunter. Immediately Valmiki gets disturbed and he curses that hunter, saying that let your reputation go ill for ages to come. He says, Manishada Pratishtantam Agamashashvati Samaha Yadkroncha Mitunat Ekam Avadhi Kamamohitam. So in this way he curses it. And there is one more very important special thing about this shloka or verse which I am saying, because this verse is the first ever verse or shloka of the world which was composed. Because Ramayana is known as Adi Kavya, because that is the first kavya or poetry which came into this world. In Ramayana, according to composition, which was the first verse that got composed, is this one. Manishada Pradishtvam Tvam Agamas Shashvati Samaha. This is the one, this is the verse which was first composed, and this came out of the mouth of Valmiki. In this way, Valmiki cursed that guy and they went ahead. They wanted to finish their afternoon rituals in Tampa river bank. So Valmiki and also Bharadwaja went ahead. They finished their afternoon rituals. They came back to their ashrama. They were really disturbed. Valmiki was really disturbed with whatever happened. So he was really disturbed in his mind. He was thinking about the same thing. But for their surprise, there Brahma was there. Brahma was there in his ashrama, and Brahma says, without even Valmiki questioning, as though Brahma was knowing whatever Valmiki was about to question. So Brahma says, you don't have to worry about whatever has happened. Whatever you said and whatever has happened, everything has happened good. Everything is auspicious. Nothing to worry, says Lord Brahma. Because then Lord Brahma says, because whatever you have spoken as a verse, this verse is the first verse which is all auspicious verse. You go ahead, you spoke all these things because of me and my wife Saraswati's blessings. That's why you spoke these things. So please you go ahead with the composition of Ramayana. That's what Lord Brahma blesses Valmiki. He says, Machanda Devate Brahman Prarutteyam Saraswati Ramasya Charitam Kritsnam Kurutvam Rishi Sattama. In this way, Brahma blesses and then Valmiki and then Brahma leaves from there. So in this way, whenever we take up, why I told this story is, whenever we take up any endeavor in our lives, whenever we are about to start any endeavor, before that it is very necessary to get the blessings of our elders, especially scholarly elders. So in that way, Valmiki took the blessings of both Narada and Brahma. So then he started composing Ramayana. After he composed Ramayana, then comes the important portion, which is the marketing. So when it comes to marketing, what are the skills that one has to have? So there are many disciples in Valmiki ashram. Valmiki never paid heed to all those people. Valmiki straightly selected only two of them. They are Lava and Kusha. Why did Valmiki select Lava and Kusha to spread Ramayana? That's because lava, and there are reasons which Valmiki states. Satu medhavinam drushtva vedeshu parinishthito vedo brahmanarthaya tavagraheta prabhu. Here Valmiki says that these people are vedeshu parinishthito, which means they know all the essential meanings of Vedas, and not only that, they can go and communicate in a way and convey in a way others can relate to, or others can even grasp easily in that way. So that's why Valmiki selected Lava and Kusha. So when it comes to marketing, one has to know the product in and out which they are marketing. Lava and Kusha did that. Lava and Kusha knew that. And then one has to convey in the way that others can understand. So Lava and Kusha did that. Rama himself was very happy hearing Ramayana from Lava and Kusha. So in that way, marketing is a very important thing which we can get to know from this. And then where we come to Vibhishana's part, we enter about the surrender of Vibhishana. So before going into the actual surrender, what happened to that storyline, I'll just give a brief about Vibhishana, who he is and all those things. So Vibhishana is the younger brother of Ravana. Among all the brothers of Ravana, Vibhishana was the only one who was a virtuous, really good guy. All other peoples were not. All other people were not like him. So in this way, Vibhishana being virtuous, he advised Ravana many times to change his behavior, to change his attitude, but now Ravana never paid any attention. Finally, what happened? In a public assembly, not even in a private, in a public assembly, he insulted Vibhishana. He even literally threw him out to go out of palace, and not just palace, even Lanka. And that was the time Vibhishana decided that he is going to join Rama's side, not just join, surrender to Rama. So that's when Vibhishana comes flying over the ocean. He can fly because he was a Rakshasa in the Treta Yuga and he had those magical powers or Mayavi powers. So he flied over the ocean and then he stood in the sky since he had those magical powers. He stood in the sky. There is another reason why he stood in the sky. As Vibhishana came, after that he told that he has been insulted from Ravana and all those things and he has come to join the Rama's army. By seeing this Vibhishana, all the vanaras got enraged and they started throwing stones, wooden sticks, whatever they get to their hands, and they started throwing at him. But however, that did not hurt him because he was at a safe distance on the top. So Vibhishana came there, he was standing on the sky, he was still there, but all these vanaras started doing all these things. Then later what happened is, Rama called an emergency meeting there. So this is where the meeting etiquettes come into picture. Rama called an emergency meeting to speak about Vibhishana, and what Rama did is, if you see, this is a very important leadership quality and also the meeting etiquette, that Rama called the meeting and allowed others to speak first. He listened to all their opinions and finally gave his opinion. So this is a very big leadership quality and also the meeting etiquette which has to be followed. In this way, Rama invited all of them, all the vanaras came. They started throwing up, just how they threw stones and all other things. In the same way, they started throwing oppositions at Rama to not admit Vibhishana. First, Sugriva states, even before going into Sugriva's opposition, let me tell you one thing what Sugriva had done in the past. Sugriva, once in the past, in the Kishkinda Kanda of Ramayana, he had told to Rama that, oh you Rama, you are the leader of all the three worlds. Is there anything unknown to you? That's what Sugriva says in Kishkinda Kanda in the past. Then at this time, what Sugriva is doing is, he is thinking as though Rama doesn't know anything and he started opposing. And he says, Antardhana gata hyete rakshasa kamarupinaha shuvrascha nikritignascha tesham jatana vishvese. So he is giving one of the point here, which is a valid point from Sugriva's point of view. He says, these Rakshasas have all kinds of magical powers. So they do anything for, if they desire something, they can disguise themselves, they can do anything. They are even hypocrites. They have one thing in their mind and they do something outside. So we cannot trust these kind of people. How can we trust these kind of people? How can we admit this kind of people? That's what Sugriva says. And then to this, Angada adds his opposition. So Angada says that Bhadyadamesha Tivrena Dandena Sachivai Saha Ravanasya Nrushamsasya Bhratahi Esha Vibhishana. He says that these kind of people who are like Vibhishana has to be punished severely, because who is he? He is the younger brother of cruel Ravana who has abducted Sita. So there is no way we can admit him. So this is what Angada's opposition is. So in this way, all the Vanara leaders give their opposition points. Later, even Sugriva adds one of the opposition points, where he says, Idrisham vyasanam praptam bhrataram yah parityaje kovamasa bhavet tasya yamesha na parityaje. He says that one who has been insulted by Ravana in this way, he left Ravana. So tomorrow there might be some unfavorable situation to Vibhishana. So in that unfavorable situation, he might leave us too. So how can we trust and admit him? That's what Sugriva says. This is a very valid point. I won't even oppose that from Sugriva's point of view. But if you think as Sugriva himself, what was Sugriva's story in the past? Even he was insulted by his own brother and he was sent out. So who is, and he asked Rama's help to gain the kingdom and his kidnapped wife. In this way, Sugriva has done this in the past. That is, he has asked the help of Rama, but he is saying for others, that is for Vibhishana, that this should not be done. He has forgotten his past, so he is speaking like this. Then, going ahead, there is Hanuman who says his opposition. Even before going into Hanuman's opposition, let us see how these people are speaking. These people are speaking in the excitement and anger, because they are excited to get their work done or to have their opinions converted into decisions somehow or other. So in that they are excited and they are jumping and throwing oppositions one after another. So one is excitement, another is anger. As they saw Vibhishana, they have anger over him. So what happens when one acts in anger or excitement? Let us see that. Let us see an instance from Ramayana. When one acts in excitement, what happens? So first of all, in Kishkinda Kanda of Ramayana, Rama and Lakshmana, they were walking on the Tampa river banks. At that time, they meet Hanuman for the first time. Hanuman is disguised as a Pandita during that time, and they meet Hanuman. At this time, Hanuman asks a question. Rather than saying a question, this was a little speech, I would say. He gives a little speech where he tells about himself as a Pandita, and then asks the question, who are you guys, that is seeing Rama and Lakshmana? For that, Rama really appreciates the speech what Hanuman has given. He says, did you see Lakshmana, how this person has spoken? He has spoken like a real Pandita. He's all the 9 different Vyakaranas, Hanuman. So in that way, he has used all different, the vocabulary he has used, the word usage he has done, is all perfect. Not just vocabulary. His expression from his forehead, from his eyes, from his eyebrows, all those things are perfect. So all these things, and even the eye contact, he says. So all these things are there in communication skills, what we see today. So he appreciates this, and he says that to Lakshmana. And he never answers the question what Hanuman has asked. Instead, he makes Lakshmana to answer. Why is that? Can anyone say? Any guesses? Yeah. No, that's not the reason, but that's a good try. So, Rama never answers the question there. The real reason is Rama is really happy with the speech and he is excited. If someone does something in excitement or speaks something in excitement, they might speak here and there something unknown and something can go wrong. That's the reason why Rama did not speak and he made Lakshmana to speak. So in this way, acting in excitement, what happens we can see. Then there is another incident about Hanuman. What happens is he enters into the private bedroom of Ravana and he was searching for Sita at that time. There is he sees a lady who is sleeping beside Ravana and he thinks he found Sita and he gets excited. And Valmiki says, Aspotayamasa Chuchumba Bicham Nananda Chikrida Jagav Jagama Stambhanarohan Nipapata Bhuno Nidarshan Swam Prakritim Kalpinam. He says that in happiness he kissed his tail, and not only that, he clapped his hands, he sang in joy and then climbed up the pillar and fell down. Valmiki says this. In excitement, Hanuman did this. Not only this, Valmiki says another statement in the shlokam, which is, in spite of being such a Pandita, knowing such things, highly intelligent person, Hanuman, he showed his true nature of being a monkey. Valmiki says here. So in this way, in excitement, anything can happen, anything can go wrong. So acting in excitement, we need to be careful about it. So next is anger, which I told you. So acting in anger, what happens? You know this. As you see this, you get to know that Hanuman's tail was burning and he burnt the whole Lanka, and he came to the other side of the bank and he dipped his tail to just extinguish this fire. At that time, Hanuman says a verse which goes like this. Krudha papam na kuryat kaha, krudho hanyat gurunapi, krudha parushaya vacha, narassadhun adhikshipe. So when one is angry, what that person can do? That person can do any kind of papam or sin. What kind of papam? He can go until the extent of killing his own guru. So that is how anger makes oneself, anger lets down oneself. So in that way, that is one. Other than that, there are many good and scholarly people. We just meet them and we can use some abusive language against them. So that's how a man just gets converted if he is in anger, says Hanuman. And then after all this, let us all come back to Vibhishana surrender. So now all the opposition is over by all the Vanara leaders. Then Hanuman is led to speak. At this time, Hanuman gives his opinion. He says, Rajyam prarthayamanascha buddhipurvam ihagataha. That is, this Vibhishana here has come desirous of the kingdom. That is, he knows Ravana will lose and Rama will win. That's why he needs Lanka kingdom. That's why he has come here, says Hanuman. And finally, he doesn't oppose. Even if he has come for kingdom, it is okay. Let us admit him, says Hanuman. And then is the camera which shifts to our hero today, which is Rama, and Rama starts speaking now. So these are all the important parts of leadership qualities, which is listening to others' opinions, giving space for them to speak, and then after listening carefully to all their opinions, right now Rama starts his speech. If you see the starting part of the speech of Rama itself, that really is so excellent. I'll tell you why. It's not like today's hero's introduction. It's really the opposite way. He says, Mama pitu vivaksha asti kachit prati vibhishanam shrotumichami tat sarvam bhavadbihi shreyasi sthitaihi. What he says here is, I, who is Rama, he is Rama. He knows that even then, how he speaks, if you see, it's a really polite and humble tone. Can I even speak a few words about Vibhishana? This is how Rama starts. Does he have to ask permission in the midst of Vanaras? not needed. Even then he asks this. Can I say a few words about Vibhishana? And then he says, I want all of you people to listen to this because you are all the people who think of my well-being. So in this way, Rama says that. So if you see here, they threw all kind of oppositions, all the vanaras, but Rama never abused anyone, never did anything. Instead, what he did, he appreciated them. He said, you are all the people who think good of me, who always think something which is beneficial to me. So in this way, you people are doing a lot of help to me. So I want you to listen whatever I say. And after saying this, he puts one after the another opposition points, whatever had come, right? So he gives his points of opposition for each of the points which had come. So now he says, Na vayam tat kulinascha rajyakamshi cha rakshasah. He says, we are not from the lineage of Rakshasa Vibhishana. That's right. What if we are not from his lineage? What if we are not Rakshasas? What if he has come in the desire of kingdom? We can admit him. Those are not the valid reasons for not admitting him, says Rama here. And then he continues saying, Mitra bhavena sampraptam natyajayam kachanchana dosho yadyapi kasya syat no dosho yadyapi tasya syat satameta davaritam. So he says, whoever comes in the intention of extending friendship with me, I even accept those people. That friendship even could be because of hypocrisy. They might have something inside and outside they might show something else. Even those kind of persons I will accept. This person Vibhishana has come and he is saying that I will surrender unto you. He is not even extending friendship. Why can't we accept this kind of person, says Rama. And then later he also, this is an indirect taunt or whatever you can assume to Sugriva, because if you see in the past how Sugriva met Rama is Sugriva extended his friendship to Rama. So how can you oppose Sugriva? You just extended friendship. This person Vibhishana is coming and saying that I will surrender unto you. This is what Rama says. And not only this, any blemishes that person has, I can accept that person. There is no problem, says Rama. Why did he say that? Even with blemishes, how can he accept? Because satam etadavarhitam, which means he has, where Rama has studied, that is with Vishwamitra and Vasishtha. Though they are all Mahans. So, if I have studied under Vishwamitra and Vasishtha, it is a bad name to them if I don't accept this Vibhishana. So, they will appreciate me tomorrow if I accept this Vibhishana. That's why I am doing this. Then he continues. Vanaras were afraid that they can do something to Rama. So that's also the reason why they opposed. So Rama puts an opposition to this point, saying that Pishachan, Danavan, Yakshan, Pruthivyam Chaiva Rakshasan, Angulya Grenatan Hanyam, Icchan Hariganeshwara. He says there are many species in this world right now, that is in Treta Yuga. Pishachas, Danavas, Yakshas and all those species, they are not on this earth right now. But even those species, if I want to kill them, I can just kill them like plucking a small leaf. That's not at all a big deal for me, says Rama. And then later he says that not just those people, then even Rakshasas on this earth are just like a small leaf to me. That's what Rama says. And then now he starts with a very amazing story, and this is the really amazing climax which made even Sugriva realize, not just Sugriva, all the Vanara leaders realized their mistake, what they did. So, the effective way of communication to someone, I don't know if it is possible in today's corporate life because of time constraints, but really effective way of communication is conveying our opinion to others through a story. So Rama starts a story right now to convey his opinion. So even before going into the story, I'll just speak at 2 lines about authenticity of information. So whatever information we get today, so we say this is information age, right? Because we get information, we can get any information in our fingertips. So that's why we say information age. But is it really authentic? Do we know that? No, most of us don't care for it, and most of us don't see the authenticity of it. That's another part of it, a darker part of it. But here, even before saying the story, Swami Desikan says and establishes the authenticity of the story which Rama has spoken in Ramayana. So this story which Rama is saying in Ramayana has been spoken in the Vedas originally. That is, in the Vedas it has been shown. And then in the Vedas it was first of all revealed by a Maharshi called Kandu. And this Kandu Maharshi is a Parama Rishi, says Vedas themselves. So in this way, Vedas praise this Kandu, not just Kandu, it even praises his father who is Kanva. So in this way, he himself is a great guy. Not only that, he also comes in a great lineage. So, Rishehe Kanvasya Putrena Kanduna Paramarshina, says the Ramayana verse. So then Kandu has revealed this first in the Vedas. Later the same thing has been revealed by Parashurama to Muchukunda in some time. Even Swami Desikan shows us that. After what is the story that we are going to see about? This is the really amazing climax story that we are going to see today. This story is nothing but a story of a white female pigeon. So, what is this story? So Rama starts the story. So we saw the authenticity of the story even before going into the story. Now Rama says there is a hunter in a forest, and this hunter is looking for a prey for his own food for the day, and he is roaming all around the forest the whole day almost. Later in the day he got this female pigeon and he caught it. He put it inside the cage, whatever he had. After that, he is just walking. It gets darker. It even gets colder as it was kind of winter days. And then, as he had not eaten anything from the morning, he could not bear the cold, one. Secondly, he has not eaten anything. He was not able to bear the hunger. During this time, he is really tired and he is almost exhausted at a point while he is walking back. And he gets exhausted at a point and goes and sits under a tree. And then after some time, he is really exhausted to that extent that he is not able to bear the cold and he is not able to bear the hunger. So he shouts in hunger and also in the cold that he could not bear. He says, "O Vanadevatas, forest devatas of the forest, please protect me from my cold and also the hunger." That's what he shouts, this guy shouts. And then the male bird is seen from the top. Why the male bird is seen from the top? Because the female bird's nest is on the top of the tree where this guy is sitting. So the male partner of this female bird which is in the cage, that is seen from the top all these incidents. Female is here in the cage. Now female says to his male partner, "Go and get some dry wooden sticks and light the fire and relieve him of cold." Says female. Which female? The hunter who has caught the pigeon and which is in the cage. For the hunter is the enemy of the pigeon, and this pigeon says, "Go and get dry sticks." This is how we need to serve our guests, whoever comes, because this guy has come to their home, which is the pigeon's home. So pigeon shows us how to serve our guests, and pigeon says, go and get some dry sticks to the male bird does it, gets the dry sticks, it lights the fire, and this guy is relieved of some cold for the time being. He is okay right now. But however, the hunger is not yet gone. So the fire is burning there. The male bird is seeing from the top, and the female bird is inside the kitchen. Now there is something which is very unexpected and unbelievable which is going to happen next. No one can even think that this can happen. Any guesses what happens next? Sorry? Absolutely right. So the bird shrinks its body and flies out of the cage and falls into the fire and gives its own meat as food to the hunter and relieves his hunger. So this is how we have to treat a person who is helpless, says Rama. And here if you see, this hunter has not even asked the help with the pigeon. Hunter asked the help to Vanadevatas, but the pigeon was the one which protected. So in this way, this is how the helpless has to be protected and they have to be given help, says Rama. And then this is the time when Sugriva got his realization inside. Now Rama says his final judgment after all this communication. So you can observe the way of communication Rama did. He started with a polite, humble tone. He kept giving all the oppositions to the point, whatever vanaras are giving. And then he came to the final conclusion, which is right now, Sakrideva prapannaya tavasmiti cha yachate abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dadami etad vratam mama. He says that whoever says, I am yours, once I'll just protect them in any way, that is, I will go to any extent to protect them because that is my oath to protect them. Rama says this. Now, after this, when all this story is finished, Sugriva has realized that whatever he did was a mistake, and all the vanaras also realized that it was a big mistake from them. And now Sugriva says, Namachapi antaratma ayam shuddhim vekti vibhishanam Anumanacha bhavacha sarvatasu parikshita. So I know that Vibhishana is really a good person by looking at him and also his body language and expressions. So from my inner mind I am convinced that Sugriva is a good person, says Vibhishana is a good person, says Sugriva. So all these people are convinced now, and then now the final part is Rama orders Sugriva to receive Vibhishana in a nice way and get him to Rama. So in that way Sugriva goes and receives Vibhishana in a nice way and gets Vibhishana to him. So Rama orders saying, Vibhishano va Sugriva yadiva Ravana Swayam Anayanam Harishreshta Dattamasya Bhayam Maya. So he says, whether it is you Sugriva or whether it is even Ravana himself, whether it is Vibhishana, anyone who comes as helpless, I will protect them. I will go to any extent to protect them for sure, says Rama here as his final judgment. And then Sugriva goes, receives Vibhishana in a nice way, and Vibhishana comes to Rama. Before even coming to Rama, he just, at the top when he got to know the news, he was really happy and his mind was filled with gratitude. He bows down his head in shyness and then he falls down very swiftly to the ground and comes running to Rama and says that I have left my kingdom, wife, family, everything in Lanka, and everything from now on will be yours. He says, Parityakta maya Lanka mitrani cha dhanani cha bhavagatam hi me rajyam Jivitam cha sukhani cha. So this is how Ravana comes and says this to Rama, and Vibhishana comes and says this to Rama. There is no mistake of me saying Ravana here, because even once Rama has given an opportunity during the war for Ravana to surrender to Rama. That is, in between the war, around the 5th day or so, Ravana was weaponless. At that time, Rama says, you go back and come. Why did he say that? Because he was expecting that Ravana would come back and surrender. But Ravana never did it. So in this way, Rama thinks that even if he won the war, he lost the war. Because he was not able to make Ravana surrender to him. So that's why Rama himself thinks that he lost the war. So in this way, Rama can go to any extent to protect them. So all this is a part of Vibhishana Sharanagathi or the surrender of Vibhishana. After this, now comes the important part, which is the balance of things in life and the mind controlling this. So if you see all these things from the starting, so you have seen all the different kinds of communication skills, how Rama projected himself, how he started speaking. So all of these things you have seen. Other than that, there is a very important thing which has to be seen now. It is about the mind controlling ways and about the mind. So, what is our mind compared to generally? Yes, right, monkey. So here, Sugriva, Angada and all other vanaras are monkeys. So these monkeys are nothing but our mind. And these Sugriva, Vanara, whoever Vanara leaders, here why we compare these Vanara leaders to our mind? There are two reasons. One, we act in the same way as they did when we don't control our mind. We act in the same way as they did to make our opinion to be converted into decision, and we enforce others to do that. That is one. Other than that, Sugriva and other Vanaras, they had praised Rama saying there is nothing unknown in this world before, but they forgot this and they started throwing oppositions against Rama. So in this way, mind can be compared to Sugriva, Angada and all other Vanara leaders. If mind is compared to that, what is Rama compared to then? As I told you in the beginning, Rama is nothing but an incarnation of a human being. That's how we need to say it. We need to see him right now, because that's when we can learn good qualities and management principles from him. So, if we see Rama as a human being, then Rama is a human being or a person, and his mind is nothing but all these Vanara leaders. So, in this whole part of Vibhishana Sharanagathi, we have seen how a person has to control his mind. That is, Rama has controlled all these Vanaras, because Vanaras were throwing all kinds of oppositions. So, being a human being, how do we have to control and convince the people who are throwing oppositions at us, and what basis do we have to take the decision, at what time do we have to take the decision, to whom we have to convey the decision. So if we had conveyed to some soldier Vanara, would it be useful? No. So all these things are very important management principles that we get to know from this part of Vibhishana Sharanagathi. So even if I focus mostly on Vibhishana Sharanagathi, I have narrated a few incidents other than Vibhishana Sharanagathi from Ramayana. So I hope this will be a very useful session for all of you to know about the management principles from Ramayana. Thank you for the patient listening. Thank you again for all the people who arranged this, who gave an opportunity to speak on this occasion, especially Mr. Vijay Raghavan, Rajesh Ganesan, and also HSS members. Thank you very much. So, I would like to end my presentation here. If you have any questions or anything you did not understand, you can freely approach me. Thank you. Kankartika Simhaya Kalyana Vinashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha.
Thank you, Amogh, for giving us a good insight on Ramayana, especially in a a scientific way you explain the principles of Ramayana. I would like to invite for Vijay to give a feedback on, I saw that he was listening to it. Sure.
So, I'd just like to add just a one-liner at the last. So, these are not just useful for our work life or career life. Even in our personal lives, we need to have decision-making skills. We need to have communication skills. We need to have leadership skills. So, not just personal life, all these things help. I mean, not just career life, all these things help. Even for our personal life, it really helps, whether it is wife, children, anyone. So these are all the things which are really necessary. There are still many things which had to be covered, but due to the paucity of time, so I could cover only this. But thank you again for this opportunity.
If anyone has any questions, this is the time to ask it. Or Vijay, can you give a feedback, please?
I didn't expect this portion. Again, I didn't know Jairaj is going to be here on the spot, but anyway, the point is, thank you for all coming, and thanks to HSS, and thanks to Ayyapa Temple for doing this. But Amogh, other than an IT professional, trying to spend time in such discourses, first he teaching from his guru and then he disseminating the information to all of us is something that we need to welcome. So let's start off with one big round of applause to Amogh and whoever is Nitya, everybody who is behind this. In short, my takeaway for this evening is, like for the kids or anybody, is we approach a one-dimensional approach to stuff, right? We think, okay, this is science, this is math, this is religion, this is faith, this is something that, so when you approach one-dimensional, then we do not open our minds beyond that, right? So in the case of Rama and things, so we approach it, okay, he's a god, he's a godly figure, we have to worship, we have to respect and things. Then we know the story, but the lessons of the story is not relatable because we are only looking at it one-dimensional. So when you, so what's interesting in Amogh's presentation or discourse is that how do you connect the dots between, say, corporate right, real life, even in that, even if it's if you want to believe it as a story or avatar, whatever, along the way there's a lot of decision-making process, interaction with people. So nothing is done alone, right? You interact with people, you communicate, you make decisions. You need to stand by your decisions, whether it's right or wrong, and then you lead a team towards what you think is right. So all that is what he was trying to explain. So once you start approaching the same story from a different angle of communication or leadership or decision making or sticking to your decision, and it's still there are questions that comes, what is good, what is not good. We can still argue and sit down and talk for hours, say, okay, Vibhishana came and surrendered to God, but he had a primary responsibility. Why did he leave his family and come and surrender? So everybody will have a different way of approaching it or taking it. There might be some, because they have their own primary responsibilities. Did he do that right or wrong? So these things we can talk for hours. But the big lesson is we should never approach anything in one-dimensional or go into a session saying that in a preconceived notion, that's what we're going to do. So when you give an open mind and have it open, and then you start to reflect on your own things, then the learning would be much more, what we could get out of that session would be much more. So that's what happened to me, at least today, whatever I listened today. So how do you approach anything, multi-dimensional thing? So thanks Amogh for opening whatever I have. So again, that's good. So that's a small feedback that I felt from this session. So thank you. Keep doing this. And again, like you all know, HSS is there, or if you know your friends, or even if we have any, even in your team, if there's anything we want to do, we can always get into, this was a very short notice and I'm glad so many people are here. We can arrange sessions to give people a different perspective about our religion, our mythology, our stories, or whatever it is. So we can keep it going. I think it's a very good start. Thanks again to everybody. So appreciate you all. Thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vibhishana. Amogh, if you want to explain, you want to call it as SARAN Sevak. Would you explain a little bit about it, or if there is an opportunity for the younger generation to learn something, or okay.
So, as I told you initially, I am from SARAN, that is Sampradaaya, Anushtaana, Rakshana, AbhimaaN. So this SARAN is satsang for the propagation of Ramanuja Sampradaaya. They are doing many activities for the promotion of Sanatana Dharma too. In that way, there are many things which are taught for the young children online classes, especially regarding the importance of our Sanatana Dharma and the granthams that we have to read, the importance of those granthams, what is there in those granthams, and some cultural attire. Those kind of things are all taught to young children over the online classes. I just told this at first as Jairaj asked about children. Other than that, we are doing many other different kinds of activities. We are promoting Sanatana Dharma and Ramanuja Sampradaaya in many of the countries around the world. We are there in Europe, and we are, that is mostly in Geneva, Switzerland. We are in Middle East, Bahrain. We are also in Australia. Other than that, there is very actively, there is a wing which is working in India. We are all doing different kinds of activities, even social activities we are doing, providing food to the helpless people. All these kinds of activities are being done in India. And all across the world, there are many different activities promoting our Sanatana Dharma. So you can contact us at saransevaks@gmail.com. It is in the flyer. The email is in the flyer. We can do many more such programs, or you can even contact us for children programs, anything. The email contact is in the flyer, or even I can forward you later. Thank you.
Dhanyavad. And thank you all for joining this session and getting, I see the interest in everyone's face to learn more about Ramayana in this, in this approach. So once again, thank you. Let's end with the Shanti Mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Sandhu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kachit Dukha Bhave Om Shanti Shanti Shanti